Morning, everybody. Bob Iacino from Path Trading Partners, along with my partner Mike Arnold. March 30th, AM Path Jack covering the Forex markets. Waiting right now, as we record this, we're only about 16 minutes away from the German CPI, the year-over-year German CPI forecast at 1.8%, which will be the most important one in the Eurozone. We've had Eurozone PPI already. We had that last week, and that came out right around the ECB's target. We had Spain's CPI this morning come out lower than expected, but above 2%. We all know where the U.S. CPI has been. We've been talking about that a lot. We've also got U.S. gross domestic product, the third estimate for the fourth quarter of last year, expected to be at 2%. It was 1.9 last. So again, it's old data, but they're still adjusting it. As we approach the second quarter of this year, they're still adjusting the fourth quarter of last year. Shows you how exact of a science this stuff is. Jobless claims today. And then in terms of high importance, we've got Japan's National Consumer Price Index. That'll be tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central Time. Lastly, we've got China's manufacturing data. The manufacturing PMI is coming out tonight. That'll be at 11 Eastern, 10 p.m. Central Time, and that is expected to be at 51.7. More Fed speakers today. We had Bank of Boston President Eric Rosengren yesterday say that the Fed should raise 3 more times. He is not a voting member, and he's not voting until 2019. So his voice is, I would say, less influential in terms of its effect on the market. Today we've got Cleveland President Loretta Mester, Bank of Dallas President Robert Kaplan, and New York Fed President William Dudley. They're all speaking today, and they are all voting members. Lastly, we're starting to hear talk about a government shutdown in the U.S. The government is funded through April 28th. They haven't even taken up a new bill yet to extend the funding. They will, but you're going to start to hear that stuff in the news. We're going to start to have clients ask us, what do you think about the government shutdown? They will get funded. They always do. Even if they're shut down for a couple of days, it makes great news headlines, but they always end up getting funded. Not something I'm worried about at all if you start to hear about it. Let me turn it over to Mike to show you what he is worried or not worried about on the charts.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. So we're watching to see if the euro would hold. I highlighted this orange box yesterday, and it's fallen all the way through there. So now this could be a false breakout into this big area. Remember where we were looking to get above here. It did get up to prior breakout zone and strongly reversed and pulled back into its channel that it's been making since pretty much the election. So this overhead area becomes now resistance again. I'm going to take off this box. This key area, which was prior resistance, is going to be resistance again. So if we turn back up, we're going to be watching for resistance around the 107.82 followed by 107.89. Then we have a big cluster of resistance around 108.03 to 108.20. Right in here is going to be very significant resistance if we turn around and rally. Right now we're sitting on a flattening 21 EMA, which is the bottom of our rotation zone. If we get back below that, watch for a retest this 107.33 level, followed by possibly then falling all the way to the 107 level. And then slightly below that, we have the 50 exponential moving average at 106.92. So this is going to be another critical area of support. The pound came down, tested a significant level yesterday, popped back up, retested just a higher level and a rising rotation zone, and turns higher. If it continues higher, we're watching for resistance around 124.82 to 124.88 right in here. If we break through that, next key levels are 125.16, followed by a huge cluster of stuff right around 125.54, which will be critical. If we pull back, support 124.25, 124.07, then 123.87. Yen came up yesterday, hit the declining 8 and pulled back, also retested this trend line and still closed on the side of it. Now we're above the trend line today, but still against the rotation zone. If we rally up, watch for 111.45, 111.59 to 60 area. Then above that, we could run all the way to 112.13 or a declining rotation zone. If we pull back, watch for 110.78 to 110.64, and then we have a rising trend line in there coming at about 110.38. Swissy rallied, hit the upper end of the rotation zone yesterday and dropped back down. We're now sort of caught between the hooked up rising 8 and the still declining 21. If we rally again, watch for resistance right around the 99.75. If we get through there, we're looking at 99.92, and then possibly on a stronger rally all the way up to 100.13. If we sell off, key support 99.47, followed by 99.36, and then on a bigger move down, 99.13. Aussie rallied to the key area we talked about yesterday, significant level and GAN level right around that 76.74. Today we're retesting that as we speak. We sold off earlier, caught ourselves on the 8 and another GAN level right around 76.52, rallied up, continue rally higher, watch for 76.85, followed by 77.01, and on a very strong rally, 77.17. If we pull back against 76.52, followed by 76.41, and then on a bigger pullback, 76.20. Over to the CAD, which we're still caught in this big congestion area we've been in for almost a couple of weeks now. We really have to get out of these levels before we have a solid next direction. If we break lower, below the 133.22, watch for key support coming in around 133.03 to 132.97, right in here. That's going to be very key. If we can get below that, you could see a fall to 132.83, followed by a potential down move to 132.52. On a continued rally, resistance right around the 133.48, then 133.62, 133.69 is going to be another key zone. Then if we get through that, we're looking to possibly get all the way up to around the 133.80 level. Finally, Mexican peso rallied up, sold off yesterday off the significant level, dropped back down. We're watching for a retest of the 18.74.16, which it got through. Retested that level today, and now we're headed slightly lower on a continued down move. Watch for 18.64.34, followed by 18.58.17, then all the way possibly down to 18.54.47. Rally back up today. Watch for 18.74.16, followed by the area of 18.86.30, and then on a very strong rally, 18.93.26. That's all we have for you. Back to you, Bob.
Thank you, Michael. Speaking of the peso, looking at a story in Bloomberg, Mexico got a $17 billion windfall on the Trump-driven peso drop. This drop you're seeing on your screen right now that essentially started in January as the wall became a serious thing, moved the peso down so far versus the US dollar that the foreign currency reserves of the Mexican government basically appreciated just while sitting there. They didn't accumulate more dollars, just the dollars that they have increased their value in peso. So converting them into peso, they ended up with a 321.7 billion peso windfall in the central bank. That's almost 1.6% of Mexico's GDP. By law, 1.1% of Mexico's GDP goes to deficit reduction. So I'm expecting a Donald Trump tweet saying, "Thank you, Trump," to Mexico for reducing their deficit by 1.1%. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying these videos, and we'll speak to you in the next Path Chat.